Howdy folks, Matt here with Gulf Coast Fit. I'm accompanied by Renissa and Gus. We are about to bust out a micro challenge that's all about the squat. Another short, sweet burner that focuses on lower body stamina and muscle building. Lots of time under tension, great for hypertrophy, great for mental tenacity. And this is a 1.5 rep squat challenge. What a 1.5 rep squat is essentially a double squat where you address the bottom of the squat twice and you address the sticking point of the squat twice. So not only is this great for hypertrophy, stamina, and again, your will to keep moving under a lot of stress and duress, but a really great way to drill your squat mechanics, because the bottom of the squat is the most challenging part of the squat. It's the most demanding part of the squat. You engage the most musculature, especially your glutes and hamstrings. And we experience a point about midway through the squat where we're at a mechanical disadvantage. That's called the sticking point. And so this is also known as sticking point training when you're doing 1.5 reps of different exercises. So what a 1.5 squat rep is you go down all the way. Maybe you could demo for us. Doesn't matter if you use the band or whatever. So 1.5 rep squat, you hit the bottom of the squat twice. You'll descend all the way down, come up halfway, down all the way, then up all the way. So you see down, up, up. And so we all have experienced that sticking point where you're at the bottom of a squat. Maybe you've got a bar on your back or a kettlebell in front of you, whatever type of squat you're doing. If you take your squat down to max depth, it's kind of hard to budge through the midway point of your squat. That portion of the squat is where system of levers and pulleys that is your skeletal structure, your musculoskeletal system, you experience a mechanical disadvantage. So sticking point training is great for strengthening your weaknesses and building muscle and strength where you need it and where you happen to be a little more injury prone. So the way this 1.5 rep squat micro session works is we perform 5 reps. So we go down, up, that's 1 rep. You do 5 1.5 rep squats. Then you take 2 breaths. You get 2 recovery breaths just to disengage your muscles, to let your lower body turn off for just a couple seconds. Then you do 5 more reps. You keep repeating that cycle, 5 reps of the 1.5 rep squat, 2 recovery breaths. And you simply see how many rounds you can keep going and adhere to those parameters. Again, the 2 breaths after several rounds, this will spike your heart rate. It will become aerobic in nature, and you will be getting a little bit of cardio in as well. But those same 2 breaths do less and less for you as you accumulate more and more fatigue, more and more lactic acid, and you really see where you can take this. We like to do micro sessions with simple exercises. That way, when we do experience an inevitable level of fatigue, that things don't get too risky or sketchy as far as technical breakdown goes. Now this is a great micro challenge to do with no extra tools. I would recommend starting with just your body weight. If you haven't done 1.5 rep squats before, doing a 1.5 rep squat 5 times in a row, round after round, it gets hard really quickly. Now Renissa and I have been lifting for a while, and to keep this micro session timely and to meet our needs, to get what we need to get out of it, we're going to add some bands around our knees to challenge our hip abductors a little bit more, especially the glute medius. And then we're going to add a couple of 20-pound kettlebells. So we've got a couple of weight options, a couple of resistances coming from different directions, the bands with the hip abduction, and then weight coming down vertically, kind of in a goblet squat style, holding in front of us. So if we wanted to, we could make this a drop set if we wanted to extend our micro session by ditching the band or ditching the dumbbell when the time comes, or we can simply stop when we hit burnout to the point where we're at muscular failure. So being honest about the 2 breaths is very important. Being honest about your squat depth is very important. And being honest about how far you can take this. Remember, legs have a very large work capacity, and far after they're burning, far after you think that you can't push it any further, those legs can keep going. They're meant to keep working. So we want to keep this timely, high intensity, but we have to really stay focused on our breath, focused on our form. Efficiency is huge as you accumulate fatigue, and it's time to get at it. By the way, we're going to be on different pages here. She'll count how many rounds she gets. I'll count how many rounds I'm going. No one's the same, so our breaths will be different. Our rep tempo may be a little bit different. We're just executing this micro session together. We've got some brand new bands, so they are maximum tension. I don't think this green one's ever been used. It feels super tight. Oh yeah, it's smart. Woo! We're gonna bust a sweat real quick. All right, ready? I'm gonna time this just to see how long I can last. You gonna time yourself too? I mean, I could tell you, but we're gonna be maybe finishing at different times. All right, here we go. Bring the burn. Booty gains. Two breaths. This band is hard to stretch. Like, it's not stretching at all. But that's good. It's gonna make this micro session even more micro. It's 4 rounds. Getting bit up by mosquitoes, but the show must go on. Getting eaten alive. Good thing micro sessions are short. I'm gonna try avoid taking those little pauses between reps because that kind of negates the structure of the workout. Gotta keep it honest always. I think that's 9. This was tough after about 3 rounds. That's as long as I can go with the band. I want this micro challenge to last a little bit longer, so I'm ditching the band, making it a drop set. I just couldn't spread my knees with that band anymore. That was hard after the second round. How you feeling? Oh.
Can I do it with that weight?
Sure.
Feeling heavy on my mid-back.
I personally want this to last 10 minutes. I just decided that, so I'm gonna drop the weight, keep going. I think that was 15 rounds. Now I can appreciate how my squat mechanics will be much more desirable. Certainly could have stopped after dropping the band or the dumbbell. Just for me personally, I wanted a little more. Gotta stick to the 2 breaths. like I'll be able to squeeze one more round in. I think Renissa's got more gas in the tank though. Good. That's it for me. And again, I could have stopped when I needed to decrease the intensity and said that'll be the end of the micro session, but I wanted to extend my work capacity a little more. Drop the band, then I dropped the weight. Renissa dropped the weight first. She said it was her thoracic spine, mid-back was starting to give out. So it's very important to identify your weaknesses and address what you need to continue to move forward if that's your goal. You got any more in you? Dunzo. So she went about 10 and a half. She got another round in over me. We're not comparing to apples to oranges. This is not a challenge where you're competing against anyone, but it is a challenge against yourself. And I always strive for quality over quantity. I wanted to finish pretty. Maybe I could have kept doing a few more rounds with the band or the weight or without, but my squats would have started to fall apart. That's what your body remembers, how you're performing exercises and movement patterns. If you're practicing faulty movement patterns just for the focus of pushing yourself through pain, then you're taking steps backwards. However, if you can push through pain, mental and physical fatigue and lactic acid accumulation, but keep your reps pretty, more power to you. You got the green light to keep going. Just know what the repercussions are. I can tell my legs are going to be more sore from that than they have been in a long time. So I cut it there. So try that micro session out. Remember, adhering to the parameters, 5 reps, full depth, 2 times per rep, and only 2 breaths in between every round of 5. It's very important. Taking an extra breath or 2 makes all the difference in the world, and that might extend this session much longer than you want to. The goal of micro sessions is to keep it short and sweet so you can plug those into your life, into your busy lives. Last thing, I said that this is going to make me pretty darn sore, and that's true, but that's not the goal. That's never the goal when we're training, to get sore. You might become sore as a byproduct of experiencing a new stimulus or lifting heavier than you have before, reaching a new high, but soreness is not the goal. It's just there sometimes from doing something new. If you're always chasing soreness, engaging whether your workout was productive on if you're sore or not, then you're approaching it incorrectly and unsustainably. So we always want to bounce back, limit soreness as much as possible so you can keep moving forward and keep using your body, because soreness and stiffness, it affects your range of motion, which affects your movement quality, it affects your recovery, and it affects how safe your exercises are. So I know I'm going to be sore from that. It's one of the reasons I cut it short. I don't want it to set me back too far, but again, that's not the goal. Always chase performance, not soreness or fatigue. How you feeling?
Good.
How you feeling, Gus? Oh yeah, he's always a good mascot. We'll catch you later. Say bye.
Bye.